This is the Torso T1 16-track performance sequencer, and a few of you have been asking me why I use this instead of my Electron sequencer. That's sacrilege, right? The Electron sequencer is the best ever. It's really good. I like it a lot. But there's some things I really like about this as well too. And to answer all your questions, well, I'm going to try and answer all your questions about why I like using this sequencer together with this sequencer and the things I think that are great about it, especially for live electronic music performance. So let's get into it. Off the top of the list, the very first one is the real-time MIDI performance controls. All these ones across here control things to do with the MIDI that's playing at any given time. You can use them to control CCs as well. That's what my tape is for, so I remember what I'm playing. But let's mute a couple of things. I'm just going to have just the kick and the bass there, just to keep it real simple. This is what the bass is playing. These notes here right now. But we can change all sorts of stuff with the MIDI knobs to be expressive with it, even with the sonics. And we can do it with snapshots. So like you could have written a bass line like this in the Electron one, but you can't like grab it and manipulate it and change stuff so quickly like you can in this. Let me give you an example. Let's start. We'll take a snapshot, which means it'll remember this current thing. We'll even let's put some hats and stuff in there too. And now let's take that snapshot and let's manipulate this. So for starters, let's put in more pulses. So now it's playing more notes. Then how about let's pitch it down. Or maybe I'll even take that up an octave. Let's give it some voicing so it moves up and down octaves. We've got a whole new bass line going there. While we're here, we could take the kick out. Kind of like making a breakdown in a way. Then we can use the range knob and we can make it go through a progression as well too. Okay, we can add some sustain and make the notes longer. We're getting a whole new bass vibe there. Let's bring in one of the other tracks too. How about this one? And we'll do some stuff with this one over the top as well. I'll put some more pulses on as well. Then this one we could maybe do some rolls where it'll echo it out. Change the speed. We could change the division and do triplets. Or faster divisions of 16. And even with triplets, the repeats work, they'll switch to triplets too. So that's pretty cool. But we could get crazy by adding more notes into the melody of that for it to cycle through. It's just playing an E at the moment, but what if we... Now it's going to walk up and down through all those notes. We could give it some voicing so it shifts through octaves as well. Put those rolls on. Oh, let's change the division back to 16ths. What's our track? That one there. Then we can just start playing with the pitch and take it up even crazier levels. Could let that ring out. Same with that one. I could let that one ring out as well too, or leave it where it is, I guess. And then whenever you wanted, you can just snap back to what you had before. Maybe I'll bring some tension with the shakers there a little bit. So that's so incredibly powerful for making build-ups and melodic moments and breakdowns in your songs on the fly. You can essentially get a groove going, that's more monophonic, and then be like, all right, yeah, let's just get a little crazy and bring it all back. So one of the reasons I really like this straight away. By the way, this is not a sponsored video. I just really like the Torso T1, and you guys have been asking me a lot of questions about it, so I want to answer your questions. What else? You can adjust multiple tracks at once, and that's with these MIDI shaping parameters, but it's also with any MIDI CCs you're controlling too. So you might have seen me doing stuff with, what should we try this on? Maybe we'll do it with these two melodic parts. Let's get that one playing again. Do I have some pulses in there? Yeah. Oh, put that MIDI channel back on. So imagine we're playing these two and we wanted to put, I don't know, a roll on both of them. You can just select both of them by pressing them together, and when you turn the repeats, and all of that works with the temporary snapshots too, so we could do, let's get weird. So I love that too, how I can pick just certain tracks. You know, these two, these three, I want to do the same thing to all of them. Yeah, and again, that could be a CC thing as well, if I put them in CC mode, which means they're going to control some of the knobs from in here. I can select both of them by pressing them both, and I can turn the knob. We can do it as a snapshot. And we can still do the MIDI ones too. Pretty fun. Like, you know, you can kind of just have ideas and just do them, which is how it should be, right? Another thing, accent. Accent is really cool. It lets you do a lot of your velocity stuff really quickly. So let's try this on, probably on the hi-hats is a good one to show this one. Okay, I've got a static, just 16 step constant hi-hat. It's exactly the same, right? But as soon as we dial in some accent, you'll start hearing the volume change and some groove, basically, put into the thing. So let's turn this. So cool, right? Like, I don't have to sit there and manually program all the little velocity changes. You can do that if you want, and do it specifically. But when I'm playing live, I don't have time to do that. So this is great. You can just turn the knob and go, I want more groove or less groove. And then you also have different types of grooves. If you hold down Control and do that, you can go through these different ones. And I forget off the top of my head, but there is a way to like offset them and nudge them so that the accent points of the grooves are in different places as well. So between those 8 different options there, you've actually got a lot more. So there's a lot more different grooves you can play with. So that's so handy as well too. Actually, we'll leave a bit of that on. That was pretty cool. All right, what's next? Division. We spoke about division and the roll. The Euclidean sequencer. I mean, that's kind of one of the main things people want to get this for, and I suppose the Syntakt doesn't currently have a Euclidean sequencer, but they did just put one into the analog rhythm, so I wouldn't be surprised if in the future all the Electron stuff is probably going to have Euclidean sequencers. But it is nice having one in here already, ready to go. I'll show you what I mean, how that works, in case you haven't seen one, just really quick. If we took, say, this bass part here, oh, sorry, let's go to that one. Yeah, or even that lead that we're using before. Let's use that one there. There's an option with these things where you basically just add notes by turning a knob. So you turn the knob once, you get one note there. Second time, you get a second one, and it tries to put it in even divisions. The more you turn it, the more notes you get. This is great when you're playing live because you'd be like, I don't know what I wanted. Especially the improvising stuff, you just want to have some happy accidents. Like, yeah, 2 notes, 3 notes, I'll put a kick in. There, yeah. It's great for variations too, how you can just like, maybe that's your pattern and you want to just change it up a little. And obviously that can all be like, you could offset that as well too, so if you have 3 there you can shift it and stuff. But yeah, Euclidean sequencer is nothing that new, but it's nice that it has it, super helpful. One of the big questions everyone's saying, what about Plocks? What about Plocks on the Electron gear? Like, aren't you going to miss that? You can actually do it. You can do Plocks on here as well. And by Plocks I mean parameter locks, where you take a specific note and you say, I want that to have a different setting just for that note. You can do it with the MIDI controls and you can do it with the CCs. It's not quite as integrated as when you do it on the, say, the Electron boxes, because it's, you know, it's all in one. It's right there. You got the screen and everything too. But it is possible. I'll show you what I mean. So how about we took that synth we were just using. Yep, we can leave the kick in. And if we wanted to do it, say, with pitch or something, which is actually something that you can't do that easily with the Electron one, because the pitch on here, when you do it, it'll stay in scale. So we can double click pulses so it stays on the screen. And say I want to change this second one here, you just do Control and press it, and then change whatever you want. moved it up to that note there. And I could go and change other ones too. Let's make this one. And then I've set those to different notes, and I could have, I don't know, let's just change this one and put a roll on it. So that's doing Plocks with the MIDI controls, but let's clear those. Put normal ones back in. And we can do it with the CCs as well too. So I'll put this in CC mode. And I've got this one here currently mapped to the filter. You can probably see it moving there on the screen, hopefully. So if you wanted to Plock that into a pattern, or it'll work with anything that you map to a MIDI CC, you can double click this and you'll see your trigs. And from there you just press on one of them and turn the knob. It's that easy. So if we did it on the first one, just press that. One interesting thing though, it's slightly different to the way this works, is wherever you set it, it will stay at that position until the next trig. So if we wanted this to be bright and that to be dark, we'd have to press this one and turn it down like this. Now we get the bright open filter here, the darker filter there. I mean, I don't know which way I prefer. They're both okay. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. They both got their pros and cons. But one thing that's really good about this is it's relative. So that whatever setting I've made here, you can see the filter moving with the automation, right? I can then just move the whole filter still, and it keeps moving relative to my automation, relative to my Plocks. Whereas normally when you do this on the Electron one, once it's locked, and you can't change it anymore, which is kind of a bummer. There does seem to be one small bug about this, unless I'm missing something, but if you do these relative changes and if you push the knob all the way up to an extreme, like if we take this all the way open, now it's just playing fully open and bright on every hit. When I pull it back, it's forgotten those settings. I guess because we pushed it too far and it's offset it or something. So just something to keep in mind. But if you take a snapshot before you do that, it's all going to restore anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, you can do Plocks, and I really love that you can do Plocks on the pitch when it's in a scale, because then you can just get a rhythm going like that. But I like this rhythm, but I wish it had some melody. You can grab a note, pitch it where you want it, or change whatever you want about it too. What else? MIDI looping. MIDI looping is super fun. Let's take a look at that. People were asking about this because I was doing this in another video, and the way it's done is with the length parameter. So I think the best way to use this is when you get something kind of weird going on, maybe it's a longer pattern, and you take a shorter version of it. So let's do that with, let's throw some pulses in. We'll get a little weird with it. Let's get this, maybe open a bit more. We'll get some pitch going. We'll get some repeats maybe happening on that guy. Maybe some voicing as well. Maybe even some range. So we get some real weird stuff going on there, but what we can then do is we can grab a loop of it. In this length parameter, you can say, I want it to loop 2 beats. I think that one's like 1 beat, half, it gets faster and faster. And these are longer like bar values, but whatever randomness you come up with, you can grab that. So let's try this here. And if you don't like the loop you got, you can, when you're in that screen, just hit clear and it grabs a new loop. Grab a different one. It's just so fun for happy accidents, especially when you start getting into one of the other things I want to tell you about is it has randomization. I know there's some sort of randomization stuff you can do on the Electron, but not quite like this. Let's put it back on normal. And we can, just to get rid of all that stuff, you can just hit clear and press the button, and it's just cleared that button out, so you can put fresh stuff in again. And this randomization stuff, you can have it on every knob. Every MIDI parameter can be randomized, and even every CC can be randomized, which is super cool because I mean, that's one way I'd get around p-locking as well too, is often I'm p-locking just for variation. Like if I'm doing a parameter lock on the sound. So it's nice to be able to just randomize it instead and not have to even set all the things, just let it do its own thing. And when it does random, it will be looping random as well too. It'll make a random setting that will loop back the same each time. You can also make it do completely random, and you can switch between how much you want it to do that, which I love as well too, because if it's too random, it's just not as catchy anymore. You still need to have some kind of musicality in there. But let's have a look at that. Let's start with, say, that pattern we had there before, and I'll just delete the voicing and range. So it's all just playing standard, just one note there. And let's randomize, say, like the pitch or something. We can do that, and maybe the rolls too. So you just hold random and turn the knob. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's the one. Hold random, turn the knob you want to randomize. You'll see it changing its value. With all these values too, you can either turn it or just click straight to the one you want. It's faster. So let's do a bit of randomization on the pitch. And that'll do it in scale, whatever scale you've set, and you can do custom scales. And you can choose how far that randomization will go. Will it be a little bit? Will it be a lot? We could put some rolls on. Randomize those. And then I'll show you with the CCs as well. If we put in the blue one, the CC mode, and let's randomize a little bit of that filter value there. And once again, it's relative, so you can offset things. I can add more of that filter and take it away, and it will keep doing its randomization. So I love that as well too. What else? What other things do I really like? You can kind of do longer patterns in a way with this as well, because the Electron really is limited to 4 bars. You have to do a lot of kind of p-locking tricks to make it feel like it's longer, or change the division and stuff. You can get around it, but it's a bit tough in a live situation, especially if you're improvising. Like a lot of what I'm talking about here is I'm using this to improvise a lot of music live. If you're just making stuff in the studio and like set it and done, it's probably not going to matter. Or if you're going to make patterns and then kind of play them back and just turn the knobs, it might not matter as much. But if you want to be able to be more expressive with the MIDI and the music and make things up quickly on the spot, I think that's where this really shines. But yeah, longer patterns. So with this, you get your regular 16 steps, and you can shorten it, no problems. You can also make it up to 4 bars long as well, same as the Electron. But then you have this thing called cycles. And cycles is kind of like different versions that will play after each other. So right now the default will be set to 4 cycles. And we could do something like, I suppose we'll do it on this one, on this lead. So I'm going to double click cycles so I can see them. And to edit one of them, I'll just say that one. And let's, what can we do? We'll take it, say, up an octave. So we'll just go pitch, up an octave. And while you're editing it, you'll hear it playing. If I jump out of that now, you'll see when I press play, it'll do one version of this, one of the edited version, and it will keep going. Normal. There you go. And each of these can be totally different. Like, so this one, we could say we'll press that one, and we'll go pulses, and we'll change the whole pattern. Like, we'll put some stuff just there instead, and maybe put a bunch of rolls on it. Let's see what that sounds like. And you can copy and paste stuff too. So if I wanted to copy that one and put it there, so quick. So let's hear all of that. Normal. It's the high one, the weird one, and the high one. So you can use this to make variations, to make fills, to make chord progressions, all sorts of stuff. It could just be even CC changes, like sonic changes. The great thing is too, you can make it longer, you can have more of them, or you can have less of them. So you can have, like, I like having my main groove on one of them, and then when I'm coming to a breakdown or something, I might have a bunch of other variations that I can have them playing. And when I want it to come back just to stay on the groove, I just shorten it. Yep, just stay on cycle 1. Or then I I can move it out here. Or sometimes I'll go, I really like this thing I've done, but I wish it was all drawn out longer. So let's make it, 8 of those. And then you can just copy around, spread those sort of things out. So maybe we'd do that one there. We'll do 2 of those. We'll do this one, 2 of them there, and we'll clear these ones. So fast. So there's the high ones and the weird ones at the end. But yeah, great for chord progressions. I love that as well too, which you can also do so well with the range control, and there's just so many things. I'm sure I've missed something. I'm sure I've missed, there's just too much to remember. It's just so much fun. And like I said, again, this is not a sponsored video. I just really like it and I wanted to answer you guys' questions. I bet you have more questions though. So if you do, hit me up in the comments below if you have questions about T1 or Syntakt or the Roland S1 or Machina or anything to do with playing live. My mission is to get more people playing live because it's just awesome. It's super fun. I love playing live and I want to see you playing live too. So yeah, one more thing I really love about this, it can control many boxes. So I can have all these things connected and all the temp and MIDI CC things, they all work on every single box at once. That's huge. But anyway, guys, have fun playing live as well too. Like I said, hit me up if you got any questions and I'll see you in the next one.